The case of Camila Pacasi, a tragedy that challenges Bolivian society. Camila Pacasi was an 18-year-old Bolivian young woman, known for her intelligence and being a dedicated student. She had big dreams of pursuing a career in education and becoming a teacher, but her life was tragically interrupted by a violent event inside the school where she studied in La Paz. The case caused an uproar and led the Bolivian society to reflect deeply on issues such as gender violence, harassment in schools, and the responsibility of educational institutions. Camila's tragedy is not just about her death, but also about the impact it had on social and political discussions in the country. The circumstances that led to the crime and the reactions of the school community sparked a debate about student behavior, attitudes of school authorities, and, especially, how much work still needs to be done in terms of safety and respect in schools. The attack and reactions. In 2024, Camila was attacked inside her classroom by a classmate who had shown obsessive and aggressive behavior toward her. For some time, he had tried to initiate a relationship with Camila, but she had always rejected his proposals clearly. The constant rejection made him increasingly frustrated and aggressive. The attack occurred after a discussion, and the violence manifested in an extreme way. The act was witnessed by other students, many of whom froze in shock. Some, instead of trying to intervene, chose to film the incident, which generated outrage. The lack of action in the face of such severe violence raises questions about collective responsibility in risky situations. The reaction of the classmates, who opted to record the event, and the lack of immediate action to help Camila, became a crucial point for public and social debate. Legal consequences. The attacker, Edwin, was arrested shortly after the attack. During the trial, the charge was homicide, supported by the fact that he had already shown clear signs of possessiveness and obsession before the act. The defense tried to argue that the attacker was emotionally disturbed, which could have influenced his actions. However, the evidence indicated that the act was not impulsive, but premeditated. The great question surrounding the case was the reaction of the classmates who were present during the crime. Why didn't they help? Why was there no collective effort to protect Camila? This behavior of indifference became a reflection of a deeper problem in education and the character development of young people. The court made a decision based on the evidence presented and the clear actions of the attacker. Edwin was convicted of homicide, and the trial generated a huge ripple in Bolivian society. Many began to question how schools handle violence among students, which led to a movement for raising awareness about the need for changes in school policies, repercussions in society and the educational system. Camila's case generated a national movement of reflection on gender violence and school safety issues. Various feminist groups, social organizations, and human rights advocates united to protest and demand changes in public policies aimed at protecting women and girls in schools. The debate about the responsibility of classmates and the role of educational institutions became stronger, with many voices calling for reforms. The indifference shown by the classmates who witnessed the crime was seen as a reflection of a systemic problem in education and how school violence is addressed. According to experts, it is essential for schools to implement more effective measures to prevent harassment, violence, and bullying among students. Furthermore, the need for more effective approaches to address mental health issues among students was highlighted, as gender violence is often linked to untreated emotional problems and dysfunctional behaviors. The lack of psychological support policies in schools was one of the most prominent criticisms after the crime. Camila's legacy in the fight for justice. Despite her life being tragically cut short, Camila left an important legacy. Her death became a catalyst for a movement fighting against gender violence and indifference to the suffering of victims. The case sparked an outpouring of solidarity and social mobilization that went beyond Bolivia, inspiring awareness campaigns in other Latin American countries. Her family, especially her mother, became an active voice in the fight for justice and better protection policies for women. She used her pain to raise awareness about the urgency of changing how society deals with femicide and violence against women. Camila's case also served as a wake-up call for the need for more dialogue about violence in schools and the apathy displayed by students. Bolivian society began to reflect on how to create a safer, more welcoming, and respectful environment where people are taught to respect each other's boundaries and address violence more decisively. Conclusion: the challenge for society. Camila Pacasi's case is a sad reminder that we are still far from achieving a society without gender violence, especially in the school environment. Despite the discussions and actions that followed her death, much still needs to be done to protect women and girls, ensure safety in schools, and foster a culture of respect and solidarity among students. Camila's legacy should not be forgotten. Her death sparked a movement that still resonates throughout the country and beyond, and the changes that emerged after her tragedy are an important step in the fight for justice, respect, and equality. Traducción al Español, Mexico.